Huh?
Or, no, I swear someone in for Tracy, right?
We don't have any alternates.
Oh, we're all solid.
We're all solid, so was a reminder of
Sweet.
that.
Circle.
So, Tuesday, May 20th, 7 p.m., call this meeting to order. I'm not sure if we want to go in this particular order, but, since time you have all these printouts, we want to jump down to the either selectmen update or regional, and then we can tackle the town budget afterwards, or,
Yeah, I mean, selectmen's update and the regional are kind of the same thing.
same
I
thing?
don't know if you all were on the call last night for the Board of Ed meeting where they adopted a budget, which is gonna go to hearing on Thursday. Virtually, it's the same increase, but what they did, instead of asking to get a loan for 3.53 million, they took 1 million of that 3.53, the capital, and they put it back into the budget. And then they made some cuts within the budget to keep the increase the same at 4.73. And then as far as the loan,
Well, just, I want to give a little bit more context. So the $1 million that got put back into capital, they also took the 300 and some odd thousand dollars
325 of
of
contingency.
contingency is part of that $1 million. So they took the 325 out of contingency. So their capital is $1 million minus 325. So they're holding that for any capital projects they're gonna pay for. And then at the end of the year, if they haven't used it, there's, sidewalks or whatever else.
Yeah.
Could,
They're gonna
could
do
be
like
used.
500,000 worth of projects and they try to keep the rest for anything that pops up during the year, which a boiler or something like that
Right.
definitely could.
And then there was $300,000 that was part of that capital for technology. So they really only have $300,000 to play with.
Contracts,
Okay.
which I'm not sure why
I know, they would put that in.
technology contracts would be in capital.
Right.
Unless they're purchasing infrastructure. Cause that's what the capital is for.
Unless they didn't budget for it and they need to put it.
And then they also made some other cuts, including some staff.
There's
Here's our
Tracy,
Board of Ed
So
person.
what are
Tracy
the,
at 702.
what are the total cuts that they made for this budget versus the prior one that was voted down?
What, for the school?
Do you have
Yeah.
the handout?
I think there are.
This one? Is that what this is? This shows cuts? No.
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 No, keep going. I
Here.
should put it in, I haven't got.
Here.
No, okay. They cut
On the
the
top.
positions more than anything, I think there was a lot of that, they tightened some spending. So the thing is, so you get certified salaries is cut,
This is all invoices.
learning program, which amounted to not what you think it is. Arethusa they took out,
Which was out before.
which is,
anyways.
well, that's, yeah, they made sure that was out. But the problem is the big savings on those cuts
What's
is
that?
not gonna be until next year.
That's
Same thing.
No, but what was just the amount?
The amount,
The total at the bottom.
oh, I have no idea. Yeah, look at the bottom.
Taxpayers wanna know how much was cut from the current
Nothing,
proposed
basically.
budget.
Everything, like $1 million was cut.
Right.
It's $1 million.
Okay.
Just go with 1 million,
Yeah,
because it's the
that-
same
Because
amount.
they took $1 million out. They did a little bit of fuzzy math because 325 was contingency that was put back in. They reduced the loan because they were gonna pay the closing costs of $100,000. Not doing the loan,
Or
so
loan
there's
payment.
$100,000 savings there. So there's
At the
$1
end of the
million
day.
basically.
Right,
They took out, if you take the $1 million capital out, it would have been a 2.3% increase with the cuts they made, but they put the $1 million back, so it's back to 4.75% increase.
but you're not gonna pay $5 million on having of that loan out for 20 years.
I love that part.
But now you just have to pay it off in 3 years, or whatever you decide.
Well, that's the other part is that we have to, I guess, you have to catch us up on your meeting.
Well, now that if this budget is higher,
It's not higher.
It's
the
not
same.
higher.
no, I'm saying if this budget comes in where it is, then for the next 3 years, we'll be slowly paying off that amount.
Well, no, so the
Well-
$2.3 million deficit needs to be paid off by the 4 towns.
Yeah, for Morris, it's $111,780 a year for 3 years.
Okay.
So they were sort of, I guess there was a meeting with first selectmen's of all four towns.
Yeah, I mean, we met, we didn't come to a decision. This is something that they brought forward, the new superintendent and the CFO. This is, I think, their way of trying to get this budget passed, you know. Lessen the pain a little bit over the number of years to pay off this loan. But it's something that obviously the towns have to agree to and decide how they want to handle it. The thought was 3 years.
Right, like Warren wants to pay off right away. Litchfield, I don't think can afford it. Goshen, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Litchfield, they're talking 56% of the 2.3. That's.
Were
quite
we
a
able
chunk.
to do that? To do individual town payments in to reduce our?
No,
Okay.
we have to go for one for all. But we also have to figure out how to do that. Do we know?
Well, it'd have
Because,
to be some
there's-
sort of town.
Interlocal agreement.
yeah, we don't have Region 6 anymore. That's, the state's not gonna recognize that. So Region 6 invoices. The question was, do they become by default Region 20? Or, I mean, there's just no, hi Rick. What do you got? Like, how would you compel even a meeting to say, we've got random invoices from somebody that, like, who compels that meeting? Like, how do you get this done? You have to go
You
into
can't just put a
local?
line item in the budget for
No.
$100,000. What? You can, I guess.
You can, if that's what you guys agree on paying every year, the taxpayers have to pay it, or we take it out of fund balance.
But they have
Yeah, I mean-
to, but is that? I mean, could add it to our budget, I guess.
Well,
but
could we
it's
do it
not
under-
really Legal.
In our budget where we have the educational breakout, how much we pay them per year, and then have a subset showing another
Additional
line.
loan,
Cause you also have
additional
this,
deficit.
Yeah, just showing, so we can visibly see it
And
and
then 3 years from now, it goes away.
it goes away.
Right,
Yeah, so another
that's a way
line.
of doing
I
it.
don't know if it's legal.
I don't know if it's legal.
You mean paying?
No, I
No.
just
Paying
billing.
Region 6,
Cause
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
basically an overage for a last year's budget, and if we,
it's all semantics, just,
well,
We need to pay it.
semantics, but it's legal semantics, so. It's money that the taxpayers never approved that was spent.
Correct.
So now you have to go back. You have to pay it, but you can't pay it legally without taxpayer approval.
so
So,
maybe it is maybe it
There's
is,
that circle.
maybe it is when we do the town budget vote, it's a subset question on 111,000 for the next 3
I-
years to pay off.
I don't know if you should do a subset question, because what happens if they vote it down?
Right.
Right, I think we need a legal advice on this, I mean, honestly. You can yell, you have to pay it, but the taxpayers can yell, I
You can't
didn't
just pay it out of the
authorize it,
general fund every year.
no. You have no authorization for it, you have no approval.
The only thing you could do, I think legally, although I'm not 100% sure, is put a line item
Mm-mm.
somewhere. As
You have
an
no
expense.
authorization, you have to get an approval for it.
Well, what if
Your
the,
approval would be.
would be the vote?
On the budget.
Right,
I.
So we're putting
talked
pension
to
in,
a-
we're putting pension in,
I don't know,
right? We just created a line item and we put pension.
don't look at me, I'm not an attorney, I do not have those letters after
That,
my name.
when the budget is proposed to the town, it's gonna have a breakdown from us saying 111 of this is this. It's gonna say this much was going to the pension, which was unfunded.
Right.
So when they're voting on it, they'll have the information in front of them.
Right.
If that sways their decision either way, that's life. I mean,
I
I
don't
think
think-
Tracy's bringing up a good point, is how should it be handled, make sure we do it
Right.
legally, properly. Cause I mean, if you look at this sheet, I don't know if everyone was able to get it. We all know the 2.3 million, the Morris share is $335,000.
Right,
We owe money to Region 6 to Litchfield supposedly.
right,
Our share is 39,592. We owe money Morris to Region 20, $69,053. So invoices that Region 20 paid on behalf of Morris.
mhm.
There's a question in there, is that part of the 2.3 million?
I
And
don't
if it
understand.
is, why
Why are we paying
why are
double?
we doing 2.3 when it should be subtract whatever the Region 6 towns owe Region 20, or in Litchfield owes Region 20, subtract that out of that 2.3.
Right.
If we're gonna pay it like
Well, what
this.
about the unpaid bills still?
Well, then you get to the unpaid invoices from Region 6, it's 312,435. Our share is 104,478.
So what do you come up with? Let's say this whole thing flies, now you're talking 300,000-400,000 just this year.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
where we don't know that's where I guess,
I can't build.
and
a
I sit
budget.
on both,
Well,
No,
just to
well.
finish this, the unemployment, it's probably around $40,000. I don't have an exact number, so we're 13,376. So the one-time expenses in this, 226,500 for town of Morris.
Mhm.
Then you have the 3 years of 111,780. And then you have probably for a good 20 years,
Hundred and
a
five.
pension payment. I don't know what it will be in the future. I'm
Is it-
assuming it'll go down.
Right, but is the hundred and five, is that a prorated portion
Yes,
Yes,
Yeah.
for Morris?
yeah,
Mhm.
Goshen's paying like double that.
Right.
Or not, maybe 70% more.
Right.
Mm.
And
So
then,
when you walked away from the invoice meeting, Tom, were you comfortable with,
We never really had an invoice meeting.
oh, I thought you went over the invoices as a group.
No,
Oh, okay.
that's. I don't know what happened to that. We just got sent, I think you see the review of outstanding invoices.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance
Flyer.
to look through them.
well, I think,
So, I mean, that's, if people agree to pay for all this, that's what we owe, plus the Region 20 budget increase.
Did they scalp out any of the obvious stuff like the Region 20 koozies and fleeces and?
yeah, kinda.
I'm gonna thoroughly go through all the invoices paid that have been paid so far by Region 20 on our behalf, on Region 6's behalf, make sure that none of that was stuff that didn't belong there. It had something to do with the merge, it had nothing to do with us for Region 6.
Well, it's clear as mud.
Well, I think also the thing is that people are talking about is that, and I'm not sure, I don't even know, that 2.3. And I know it's probably gonna be June 30th before they can even look at it, but people wanna know what that is, and I think before we move forward on it, we need to have that breakdown. Of what,
well, to Tom's point, is the 2.3 unpaid bills,
no, as far as
And-
I know, no.
right? Cause
It's
originally,
only paid
originally it was $1.9 million, but then they put
the 400,000 back in.
Back in.
That's
if we're
what they
paying the-
paid. The unpaid is separate. This I can glean, it's confusing, which is unfortunate, but. There, whatever's not paid from Region 6 is not paid from Region 6, never, they're not gonna pay it. They paid some bills, which is
So
the
what's the-
400,000 that they're putting back into that went with the 1.9. So, though, but unpaid invoices, unpaid invoices. Then if you look at, like, I think it balances out of what we all owe,
So.
I don't know.
So unpaid invoices by Region 6 is 312,000.
These are-
Right?
So that would
That's
be
the
a one,
unpaid
that's the unpaid invoice, so that needs to be paid, like. That, I think we'd have to pay this year,
Well, it's,
or that, our portion of that.
a lot of this is All-Star Transportation, Connecticut Combustion, which must be mechanical service.
There's one
for
locksmith that was in there 15 times for the same day. or
Outplace
something.
tuition services at Advance, lawnmower repair. I mean, unemployment claims, looks like they're in here.
Here's the
So is
unemployment,
that paid for, excuse me, is that unpaid in 2023?
no, 2024. They're not paid at
Well,
all, that's the
well,
unpaid invoices.
Some of these, I mean, teaching supplies back to 2022.
Right.
How's that happen for $906?
So the question becomes. How do you verify the unpaid invoices, or how do you feel comfortable with? Here's a list of unpaid invoices, and where does the comfort
I
level?
literally thought you were gonna sit with a pile of invoices and be like, Region 6, Region 20, Morris, Litchfield, Warren, whatever,
Yeah.
the
No.
districts. And that's how we were gonna break it down and you'd all agree whether or not that was,
But even
Fair
if you
and
had
equitable.
those invoices, the question,
I've got a
I'm gonna
stack of
throw
them
it
stuff.
out, is. What does that mean? I can give you invoices that were paid 3 times or 4 times, you know what I mean? Like, where's the general ledger to this? Like, what I'm looking for is
we don't have it.
Gen-
So I'm just saying, you got a Barney style, you got a chunk of paper, you split it up and divvy it to the towns. the selectmen agree upon it, then we can do our work.
But here's the pay, I mean, they put it in a
Right
spreadsheet.
now, it's in a spreadsheet. That means that's, okay, that just went from a pile this big to.
a line item.
But it's the
spreadsheet.
same information, so the question is, what's your appetite for trust?
So what's changed? On the invoices, nothing. Has it? No, tell me I'm wrong.
Changed as far as what?
Yeah, and
So the invoices that you had on your desk saying,
Yeah.
hey, you owe this. They're right here.
Right.
But have they
It's not
been,
even in there.
have they been broken out? Like,
but what do
to-
you want?
does it actually belong to Region Six?
Yeah, he wants to know who's responsible
Who's
for what.
responsible, Region Six or
Well,
Region
it's
20?
been broken out by everybody but the selectmen.
Right.
So
Uh,
it's been looked at by the auditor, it's been then looked at
CFO.
again by Julia.
Okay, Tom's raised some really good questions in the past, and he's been like, why is this associated with Region Six? When
I
it's
don't
an
think that's
obvious
it.
Region 20.
I think they did some shuffling after looking at this again. I think,
Yeah.
Dave Capoletti and, Julia Cardello got together again.
Yes,
Because of some of the initial review, I disagreed with. It's like this one, this is the 312,000 unpaid. Just by glancing at this, they all look pretty much, Region Six's bills.
Mhm.
But you,
Definitely I'd like to look at all the invoices associated with this, one for one, and go through it just to make sure.
because you know, because you've been part of this process.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for Region, I mean, they should have asked the input of the selectmen.
I think that, well,
And then we have the invoice in Region 20. And somebody has it here. For
you
69,000 for town of Morris. And I looked through those invoices, cause I've seen all the invoices, and I don't see any on the invoice in Region 20 that they paid that looks out of line. Like it's, backpacks or fleeces or
right.
things like that. I don't see that. Just based on the vendors that
Right.
are getting paid.
I mean, there's a couple questions that I have looking at this list, like the locksmith service call. It's like the same day, the same day, the same day, the same day. What happened? I mean, it would be nice to know, but,
Yeah.
It just takes one thing like that to erode public trust. Like,
well, how far, well, that's my
Okay.
question. My question is, how far do you need to go to have the public trust? When do you just say, hold your nose, be done with it? Or do you want to deep dive? Because I can also make the argument if we don't know if these were paid, triple paid, quadruple paid, we don't know what the 2.3 is, we don't know what the 1.9 is, it's a moving target. How far, how deep do you want to dive it? Do you want to go full forensic? Or do we at some point in time
forensic's gonna
say,
happen after this. That's, if that happens, it's gonna happen after the budget gets passed. It has to, because it's not gonna be done in time. Because,
After you close the books.
yeah, we have to close the books first, and we do an audit. And that's just the way it's gonna
so
end
what
up.
I'm saying is, what do you want to see to be able to move forward with this? I'm not being, like, I'm being honest, like, what do you feel is the comfort level? Cause I don't know. I'm on the board of ed, I don't know.
I would love to meet with the new CFO and
Mhm.
say,
Well, that's what I thought. the
what are
meeting-
your absolute, yeah, me too. Actually, what are your absolute, just give me your rock solid numbers that are gonna come due to our town. And give us a one bullet line as to why it's coming to the town, so we can explain it out intelligently without this muddy mess.
Okay,
That's,
so do you want to get the boards of finances together? Cause we have not done that. We
That'd be all
talked
over it.
about it. But
Well,
we
it has
should, I feel we should do it.
it has to be, it really should be with her and the, are they still hiring, what's his name? Who else to audit?
Tom?
I don't know
Who's
his last
this?
name.
Capriola?
No,
Ariella?
whoever it was they used to help audit or do their,
Capiletti.
yeah, wasn't he part of like chewing through the
He'll
invoices?
audit after the fact, I mean, he'll audit this year, but I'm saying we have, cause the other thing we have to address. Is that this is a timed event, and we have to make that decision going to what you were a little bit poking at. So. I'm just saying like, what? I mean, I think I'd feel better if the selectmen got together. And all agreed, cause what I have not heard is, I've heard we had different ideas, but I haven't heard a consensus from you guys.
Well, obviously, I can't make the decision for the town, and that's why at that last meeting, how do you wanna handle the 2.3? So I have to talk to the board of finance, they're the ones with the money, and decide where the money can come from, if it can.
right,
you know, so I can't just say, yeah, you know, I'm on board. I need,
no, but I
we
think
need to
like,
get together and figure this out.
there was a point in time before the Board of Ed completely screwed up. That there was sort of a gentleman's agreement, not legally binding, but there was a gentleman's agreement. About how we were gonna handle things where all the selectmen were sort of on the same page, and then the Board of Ed in glorious fashion blew that sky high, so I guess I'm just saying. If. Even if it's a general consensus to move forward, because if we go and we say we're gonna do all this. And Goshen and Warren and Litchfield says, well, we're not going to, then we're no further down the road. That's where this whole thing is problematic. It's a four-town contingent
Yeah.
to get this done, and we don't even know legally how to get it done. I'm sorry, I have more questions than answers, but I don't have answers for this.
Yeah, I think the consensus without any voting
Right.
in the room, and
Right.
I said the same thing to the people at the table. I said, I can't make the decision for the town. You know, I'm not against it, but
Right.
I have to go to the Board of Finance, and it kind of
Yeah.
felt the same way with the rest of the town.
Well, so,
But the thing is, you have, I guess there's a couple questions. Are these our bills? Do we owe that money? So if we decide they are our bills, you gotta treat it one of two ways, either in the budget or outside the budget.
Mhm,
right,
If it's in the budget, we gotta hurry up and make some decisions.
right,
If it's outside the budget, you got a little bit more time, but, you know. If we agree to pay the invoices, well, like unemployment, we're racking up penalties and interest.
mhm.
There was one other vendor, I think it might have been for special ed. That was really tacking on some serious
Mhm.
penalties onto the bill, like thousands upon thousands of dollars. I think they agreed to pull that back if they get paid in a relatively timely manner now. But we really got to decide, do we owe it? If so, is it in the budget or it's out of the budget?
So if it's a supplemental question on the town budget and it gets voted down, we just have to regroup. Come back, present something else to the town that's more palatable, which is almost impossible to do
But we
because
can't.
we have the
We can't,
problems
we're out of
don't
time.
change.
But the
We have the
problem,
same problems. I mean, you rewrite it a different way, but
I don't think there's any appetite to send a supplemental.
there's
bill.
no supplemental appetite.
no,
It's
I
either
don't,
gotta be
I don't,
part of
I
this
agree.
budget,
I agree. I
Get a
think-
bill rate.
So my opinion is,
Clear
we
the
gotta,
water.
figure out the exact numbers, right? Because
Oh.
is it 3.2? Is it 1.9? And then I think it makes sense to do it for 3 years because that doesn't kill.
Right, it's not a deal breaker.
not a
No, and
deal
it doesn't
breaker.
drop our fund balance in the
But-
toilet.
Right.
If we did this, let's say tonight. We decided to take our one-time expense of 226.5, right?
Mhm.
And the pension and the
Well, that's everything.
deficit, no, that's one, that's two, that's three, that's what you gotta come up with. To get this moving down the road, that's the one-time expense, then the deficit payment, then the pension. So if you took those numbers and added them up and add them to our budget with the school at the number they proposed last night. Other towns have gone forward to do this. I don't have a good answer to this because if something goes, you're locked into things, you're locked into mill rates. If not, we have to come up with a mill rate on July 1st
Mhm.
and go from there.
So basically,
What?
we'd be adding 338,000,000, 338,000 to the budget.
Oh, you got one,
So
two.
You gotta add up
This
to
is already
3.
in the budget.
That's already in,
No,
so
that's
they're
already-
adding
So
338,
338.
Okay,
okay.
So, I mean, you have the spreadsheet, we could
So-
throw it in there.
so
Yeah,
we already
Is
ran.
that a line?
Wait a second.
School expenses,
I'm not tracking here
Rick, is
because,
it 105 in the budget?
it's
Yeah.
already in the budget, so you
I know,
put
I
these
know, I know.
together, okay.
but the 225, where is that? How do you?
That's added, you've got the monies of Litchfield, you've got the,
So
what we
39
have-
and 69.
That's what we still haven't paid,
like 10.
that's what
and-
was
and-
not been paid.
No, then the 104 you have to pay.
And then
The-
104.
the-
Okay, so that equals 226.
Right, and then that squares us, that gets us out of this, and we just add the pension and this,
And that's where we got 338.
that's where we get
Yeah.
338, that
So did-
one-time shot of 338.
Did we not discuss doing a prepayment in the
No.
past?
There's no
No.
more loan,
No, I get it,
There's no
I get
more.
it, but we discussed as a group, let me just finish it.
okay,
We discussed doing a paying off the loan ourselves as a
Mhm.
town,
Yes.
and we had the capability of doing that
Mhm,
because
mhm.
that's how we built that's how we got our mill rate. We're like, hey, well, we mentally got our mill rate. We mentally took the monies that we had and said, let's pay this off. That's not much different than the number we're looking at right here.
Except this doesn't get us out from underneath. Because we're doing this, now you gotta get Warren, Goshen and Litchfield to do the same thing to get us out of this.
Also, you can't do both, you can't
Well,
take,
no, because you can't
well, you can't
pay a
take four
quarter.
seventy-five,
Yeah.
475,000.
Right.
Towards lowering them, towards, well, giving it back to the people who have it, then find another 338,000. Or no, even more if you add them all together. It's actually not that much, I mean.
That's what I'm saying. The
it's-
three
well,
thirty-eight
it's
is,
over $500,000.
Right.
So
Right.
you're.
So,
your fund
so when
balance
we
went
talked
up like
about it, Hunter, when we
600,000
talked about it, it
top.
was
It won't be
taking
fun
it,
for-
we had a little bit of money to
No.
do that, but then you add up
This
these
is
other
this is
things.
going
Now
on
we're
what we were
500K,
talking about.
right.
We're just
Well-
paying it off now.
And if you drop your fund balance down that much and you don't have your tax bills out on time.
Right.
you got a big problem.
absolutely.
You get a
And the
problem.
first reaching 20 check, got to be right.
So $500,000 to our current proposed budget brings us up an extra mil than what we had previously.
No, we
Thought
won't
of-
do that, no. Where's the spreadsheet? No, cause you already had the 105 in there. You don't have the, I mean,
You don't have 338 in there.
you don't have
Yeah.
338, you'd have to add 338 to
If
what
we
our
added
balance is.
338 and then we looked at the mill rate adjustment,
We'll go up
It's like 19, it's gonna be like 19.8, 19.7.
19.78, yeah. It'll go up almost a million,
Mhm.
a million 3/4, guessing.
and then next year, we're gonna get a 6.6, well, not now, not anymore, we're not gonna get a
Next year.
6.69 bump. But we're gonna
Well,
get
they're
a,
estimating next year.
Did they give an estimate?
Yes, they
Give an
did.
estimate for next year, but another 4% bump.
That's
I think it
with
was
the
more than
savings from the positions that will take.
Yes.
Yeah, cause you get,
Could get-
because they're getting a 4% raise every year for the next 3
No, no.
years.
What I'm saying is they eliminated a couple positions that are gonna
Yes.
be paid through this year.
but not next.
Not next year, so you're
Yeah,
talking
400.
$420-something thousand dollars.
But that's,
Yeah, but you're.
so that's what I'm
but
saying.
You're going up a couple of mil on your, just on salaries that are left.
but as I'm saying though, but next year, when we, in fiscal year 26, when we push the next budget, we're gonna incur that much less of a cost. So we're not gonna be up 6.69 on top of what we do.
We're gonna reduce.
Correct. We were
But
net,
even with
What
those
does
cost
that mean?
savings of the 400,000, they're anticipating the budget for 27 to be 45. So there
Yeah,
is no,
Right,
Exactly,
Yeah.
right.
you're still going up 4%
Right.
next year.
so like this cost savings is a
There's-
Yeah.
fallacy. It doesn't exist.
Well, it is and it isn't.
Like, yeah,
because
the positions
If
are
you
gone,
didn't
but
put those, if you didn't get rid of those positions, add another 500,000 plus to that budget. You have contracts in existence right now. What's driving this cost, there was some of it that's driving it, is you have a contract for a 4% raise for every union, all the teachers, administrators and all that are getting a 4% raise next year, the year after, and I think one more year after that. So, I think it was 3.
I just
All
think-
right, whatever it is, the bottom line is, in the contract, the administrative positions that were decided to get rid of, those people, you're still buying out their contract. So
right.
You're not seeing a savings this year, but you gotta do it sometime.
Right.
So you will see the savings next year, but keep in mind, you got 4% increase, then take that compounded another 4% increase, so you really.
It might have been like 5%.
Right, you would have been 5.5%, but you're saving 500,000, but you're paying millions more because of the increase according to the contracts.
Right.
Does any of that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're swimming upstream at the very best. You're taking a teacup and you're
So-
bailing the Titanic.
Oh, right. Yeah,
But
I
that's
understand.
setting it up.
$227,000
going-
less. Our budget was starting, because if we get
Well,
rid of these old.
My,
bills,
my,
Right,
We'll
Right.
be starting, so that will absorb some of the 4%.
right.
kind of the
If we
germ of the
sort of
thought
go
is, I
one-
just wanna think next year is that the town of Morris isn't gonna be
No.
bumped with another
You will.
massive mill rate increase, which they won't, in
Yes,
theory.
well,
School budget doesn't go up over 200 and whatever thousand dollars.
Right.
We
The
stay
school
flat.
budget is gonna go up almost 2 million
Oh,
next
for
year.
us.
Oh, for us,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
But it depends on pupils.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on students.
Well, it's a
depends on all
5-year
that.
running average, so it shouldn't go up massively.
So, but yeah, we're gonna have to.
Oh, really? You believe that?
So.
Right,
Well,
we
we
got hit,
we
we
got
got.
an
hit pretty
increase
good
this year.
We got kind of
So-
saved by the 5-year running average this year.
So we're on our
I
third
see.
year, of that 5 years. So
We
we
went
have
up to
2 years left.
211.
We have 2 years left of that track.
And don't even do the math on that 11 kids in one call per student.
Well, that's where we hope the new superintendent is like on top of it.
I
And he's
think that-
adjusting staff to the student ratio.
And that's the
Mm.
thing, unfortunately, and I know there's a lot of pushback and the Board of Ed did this and that, but. I think as much as it sucks and I don't have a plan B, this might set up. The best that they can do to set up a school budget that you can balance out and get right. But these contracts are kind of, they're deadly.
They're
So-
ridiculous.
So I don't know. I mean, so I think what he trying to do is to look at it and set it up for the future,
So
you
the
know,
board-
and still have the and still, you know, basically be able to educate the kids and I don't.
and not create contracts where you have to buy people out.
Well, I think the contracts are buyouts and I think I think you have to
That's all you
try to
do.
outlive the contracts is really what you gotta do.
I mean, if they did a good job this year predicting the revenues from outside sources,
Mm.
and the budget goes up 2 million, it's only $300,000 is a lot of money. But if we're keeping 227, it's $75,000. So I think what killed us this year was the over exaggerated. The income coming in from outside sources, which is what's really whacking us twice
Well,
as much.
It's
You're
this,
$1 million short on the revenue and $1 million over on expenses.
Yeah.
so the
$2
state
million.
revenue that was brought in, was it $1.8 million?
The what?
That's,
Mm.
I think the state put in $1.8 million toward the school this year, or whatever it was I read. No,
Yeah.
No,
no?
no, I don't know what the state did, but they don't put in much.
It's just gonna go down.
Oh, I was just saying,
State,
revenue from state,
Yeah.
I would hope isn't going to decrease.
Of course it will.
well,
Oh, we've been watching
We
it
don't
for
know
10
yet.
years.
It's decreased, I mean, I don't, we got what, we got more this year,
Well, we don't know,
254.
254, we've gotten 100 and,
right. It's been
60.
slowly going up for the last
Yeah,
several years.
it's not what
but-
it used to be.
Yeah, not what it used to be, that's for sure.
All right, what's next on the agenda?
Well,
Well, I wanna sort of summarize this a bit, so.
So,
you also gotta look at timing here too.
right. So,
So, right,
Mhm,
the one-time payment, 226,
right,
we could potentially pull that out of fund balance.
No, that is a line item.
lineman,
Should go into
you
this
gotta
year's
open the
budget.
budget,
Yeah.
open the budget.
I changed computers so I don't have it.
You don't have it?
Well, you sent it to me, Rick, so I gotta.
Do you want me to send you, want me to go?
Yeah.
My office is open, you want me to send you?
Sure.
Well,
Well, I can go back in emails and find it.
yeah, let me get you.
We can just tilt this. to it.
Did you guys
So,
do any massaging?
There's a couple line items,
Yeah, so, alright,
yeah, we're down a little bit, but a couple line items like a town clerk. Had to go up because of the new copier.
Thousand
That's the
dollars.
word.
here's the question, guys, do we go forward knowing that all of this could blow up? Like other towns have done, and do we go into the new fiscal year without a budget? What's the appetite? Cause we have to move like tonight. I think if we went forward, I don't think we have enough time to do a public hearing and a vote. Unless we move tonight, cause you get like, or next week by latest, I believe, Tom.
Well,
well, I don't.
takes almost 3 weeks for him to process the, tax bills. You know, get them ready to be sent out, maybe less. 2 weeks at the most, at the least. So you really you're running out of time if you wanna get it done. Otherwise, we send out the property tax bills at the old rate, or you come up with a new
You
mill
can
rate.
set it, we can send them.
We don't send out the motor vehicle until we have an established. mill rate.
Right,
Cause you wanna get the big money coming in sooner
Mhm.
the better, cause like you said, you send our payment out to, Region 20, that's a lot of money, and we're not gonna have much fund balance to cover that.
What have we discussed in the past about sending, just keeping the bills going out at the past mill rate for a
Mm.
certain amount of time, and then when the
When you do January, you can adjust it.
Right, which puts you in a real bad position if that school budget passes, because you're gonna be 2 mills behind the 8 ball. So we probably wanna,
Oh, we'd have to spread it out over the 11.
I don't think, wait,
Months.
what do you mean spread it out? How do you spread it
So I'm
out?
saying if we came in with our
Two tax
current mill
bills.
rate, we came in with a current mill rate and they paid that for a month, to give us more time to digest it.
No,
Month, you have to put on
no,
a bill
it's, you only
based
get 2
on-
tax bills a year. So whatever mill
Oh, the
rate
first
you
one,
set,
I'm sorry,
right,
looking
you
at my-
can make up,
I'm looking at my mortgage.
yeah, it's not a month to month.
Can we-
Twice a year, now you're gonna make me pay it once a month, oh my god.
Can we vote on increasing the mill rate based on projections?
Yes,
Yes,
Yeah, you can set the mill rate anywhere you want, really.
yeah,
yeah,
So
I
we
think
could
it-
set the mill rate. Is that that's a town vote?
no,
Right. So
So-
we set the mill rate
or we go
based
through,
on where we think.
with the 338 and the
Right.
111, right,
Yeah.
gets us 500,000.
Mm.
That's why I kind of want to do the math on the spreadsheet to see where the mill rate goes.
or do we bring this budget to the voters, knowing that this will be the worst case scenario?
I think we don't want to go anything. I don't think we want to do best case scenario. I think we want to hit a middle ground.
Well, this is where we are now. We don't know if the other towns are going to go for paying it off, and I don't think the one-time expense. I mean, I guess as a line item, you can carry it over. Would you put it, put on capital or something, or, you know?
Well, capital have to be earmarked specifically, right?
Well, right, but that, if we pay the one-time expense, it doesn't take us off the list.
The 226.
They're not gonna pay 1/3 of the bill. You know what I mean? Like, we can't pay 1/3 of
Yeah.
these bills.
Right.
So we have to get the other Region 6 towns to agree on doing what we're doing,
I don't know if that,
which I don't think you're gonna get done, but I don't know, it's tough. I don't have a good game plan. I don't know, because
Well, I think Warren is chomping at the bit to pay it all off.
I think Warren is, what's Goshen, where are they at?
I know
Are they-
Goshen
is it
wanted to
appeal?
talk with, the CFO a little bit more about it.
Do you wanna have Rich do it, so you can do the math quick and you can figure out what it is? There you go.
I would be
Here, Rick,
more
put it
than,
in there.
I don't know what you guys said, I'd be
It's not
more
a
than
PT
happy to
though.
come in for a supplemental Board of
He can
Finance
handle it.
meeting. To talk with the CFO if Goshen wants to do it and Warren wants to do it.
I don't wanna do a supplemental, I think that's gonna.
No,
be
no,
dead on
just an
arrival.
extra meeting for the Board of Finance, we just pen one in, so we could, the 3 towns.
Oh.
To sit and talk, so we make sure we're all on the same page before we even propose anything, or do you wanna propose it
I wanna propose.
as
it.
presented, with not total clarity on what the actual numbers are gonna be?
Well, that is my concern, right? So if it's truly 226. If
Yeah.
it's truly 111. Is it truly, well, we know the
Yeah.
pension is fixed, right?
If we put in, this is capital, the 226 is capital. It holds it, we can roll it over, and if it comes in less, then we just roll that money back into capital. Oh, so elegant.
1984, the year I graduated.
What do you think? 19.
College or high
About
school?
The
High school.
226 in.
Same year as you.
I did,
One.
330,
High school, you graduated when?
1984.
Get out of here. Throw away.
Why, that's good or bad?
That's bad, I graduated before you by 2 years.
I think what she said, she's the oldest person in the room. That's
Yeah.
all right.
I graduated
Where are you, Joel?
I was born in 91, so.
You can just be quiet.
88.
91.
So what'd you
Yeah,
get?
you're right,
2000.
yeah.
82.
Oh, 82.
82.
82,
Yeah.
right.
Stick together.
What I did is.
Together.
Yeah, so I was wrong on
Smartest
that one.
people in the
Make a
world.
note.
Okay, we do.
Want to put it on the board and I'll do it for you.
Yeah, join the meeting.
That close to a 2% increase on the mill?
2
2
mils.
mils,
Actually, a little over 2 mils.
no.
Ouch.
It was worth 17.5.
Oh, you saw.
What is it per meal now?
Well, the postcard we sent out is 1.5 mil, right?
Yeah, it was 1913.
Correct.
Yeah, but we're gonna try to pair these
That's why
up
I'm
now.
thinking it, what we did send out to the town is not, hold on.
Yeah.
No, I mean-
I don't know, It's not, I don't,
So while he's looking this up, if we have a preliminary number and some basic skeleton of what we wanna send out, do we wanna send out information to the townspeople before they vote, or are we gonna do it online?
or are we voting?
Should
What
we
are
do
doing?
I'm saying, before
don't
we have
know.
our budget vote for the town, you think we should educate the town?
We
people
have a
with written-
timed event, so I don't know where you see that time happening. We have very much a timed event, like we have to get this done and bring to vote
Okay.
like 2 weeks
People
before
can
the
get emails
30th.
in minutes. So do we wanna email everybody in town or put it on the website as to what our budget? You know, how we propose a budget to
Right,
the town, they
right,
come
right.
in and vote. Are we gonna how are we gonna educate the town
What do you think?
prior?
We have to have a
Hey.
hearing.
We're gonna have the hearing,
Hey,
but
what's
do we?
Hey, get rid of that little punchy thing.
Whatever this thing is.
What is your little assistant thing doing? That little pencil thing? Tape.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
That's
just-
for
can
the
we just
meeting.
Ignore it?
Is a hearing enough?
Yeah.
What?
What the heck did you do?
I think that's for the meeting, the Zoom.
Oh. Oh, okay, so just click up in there. Got it. Oops, this
Can you make it
technology.
bigger?
Correct.
Not an age thing.
What year?
What's wrong? What year?
Year behind those two and 2 years behind these two, I'm still like the middle of the road in this.
Rob's,
Yeah, but-
Rob's the baby.
Rob, I'm the second baby, we're good.
I like being the youngest guy in the room.
That's how Tom's just being very
Yes.
quiet.
So this ain't,
I've got you by year, so.
Alright,
alright,
Alright.
so what I did is,
What did you do?
and this keeps, well, this thing is not easy anatomy. So.
Okay.
I threw the 330,200, can't really see the words, right?
the what?
What I put it
What
under,
No. Why'd you put it under capital, a one-time expense, and lock it down?
that's true.
Do you have the spreadsheet locked, so when you
Um,
scroll, it'll
No,
keep the first column?
don't, it was like,
Oh, here
that's
we go.
way above
Oh,
pay
yeah.
grade at this point in time.
I know.
Super easy, I could do it for you in 2 seconds, so we can keep it zoomed.
We might have to have a new guy.
Yeah, we got a new guy.
There you go.
So I just put
Be
it
careful
under the
what you
50
ask for.
I put it underneath the $50 economic development, I put the $338,000.
Is that gonna carry over?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, so the question is, do we wanna put it in capital, so that way if, while we're deciding all this,
We could take it out quickly.
well, or it just sits there, and if it has to go into next year and the year after, because we can't make a decision, it's there,
Oh, yeah.
it's
You
locked in.
Yeah.
And then if it ends up being less than that, because somebody's math was faulty, then we can just
So
take
click
that money and
on,
put it back in capital.
L13,
That made a lot of sense, Tracy.
I tried.
right there, and then just take out that 338 out up in the.
Or do you
The
wanna
bar.
do,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, we take that out.
Or-
The 50.
leave the 50
you
there.
put the 11780 there, cause that's gonna be for 3 years, and put the 2265032 in capital,
Really following.
Alright, so, okay, cause
right?
that's just, so
That
right,
makes sense.
I can barely see it.
so put,
Go to capital.
no, stay right where
No,
you
okay,
are. Put in, 111,830.
111,830.
Yeah, and then go up to the 500,000 in L4. And change that to, 726,500. Okay,
okay.
do
So now go to the mill rate calc.
you want to just go through the
We know we
changes?
could do.
You wanna just go through the,
Well,
the changes?
Just
or-
a discussion point, could we reduce our capital projects?
I don't know, go to capital and see what we got.
I mean, we could look at them. I mean, obviously, you're the Board of Finance. man.
Well,
We
that's
can
what,
do whatever you wanna do.
Well, we have a capital committee, and our capital committee.
yeah, but we could,
Yeah, but,
we could
crazy
fund less
times.
of it this year.
right,
We did.
desperate times.
Well,
call
there's
for
some
desperate
projects
measures.
that have to, we have a steep grant that. we
Yeah,
have
no,
to-
that's what
Right.
I'm well on.
So we have to go into capital. Because we're not gonna go 2.25 up on our mill rate. And be able to keep our heads. Peoples,
It's all the way to the end, Rob.
Okay,
keep
thank
going,
you.
just going there,
Right there.
diddy. And we all lean forward.
Further out,
Further down, okay.
further down.
Yeah,
Keep
Yeah,
going.
too many
Click,
tabs
click,
here.
click.
Uh,
No,
few.
you don't. Keep going,
yeah. we-
keep going. Oh, CNR, all the way
There
over
we
there.
go, okay, yeah.
There you go, okay,
I think I go back to print. That one.
Yeah.
there we go, okay.
So,
Well, okay, we need to claw back 250,000, maybe, possibly. Engine 3 replacement.
Well, I mean, you could ask the committee to give them a number.
Oh, this, know what the problem is?
Where's the year breakdown?
So this should really be 500,000, since we put the 226,000 there, it makes it look like we have a very high fund balance.
mhm.
So just so, okay, move that out of the way. So we literally can, if this was still 500,000, our ending balance would still be decent. So we could probably take 100 grand there. You know what I'm saying? You can
Yeah.
probably take 100 grand off the top. And then,
Okay.
basically fund it $400,000. You follow what I'm saying?
Yep,
And then you'll still have some ending balance, so,
okay,
What's in column E?
um.
That's what, I wanted to see if they had the yearly projections. for-
so,
Oh, no, that's. for the-
no, that's the next one
15.
over. So Rick, tell them how to put the numbers in.
So go back to the.
You're gonna
Sadly, you have to
love
go back
this.
to the world. It's the
1500.
first, it's the first
The
1,500.
1,500, yeah.
One day I'm gonna just have to call out of work and read.
Don't, it
Jigger
took,
everything.
you know what, that's taken 10 years. and some
Yeah,
very-
it's just, we make a copy until, you know, and.
Trust me,
And,
I-
there's some
I will-
genius.
I will
work in it.
absolutely second that. You go
Yeah,
right ahead.
So go right here.
Too many tabs.
Oh, are you?
Well,
yeah, right there.
we have that many
So-
departments, kids.
You know, for just,
Go up
just for
to
ha-has, just put the
that.
$227,000 here. Just so we can see capital, to what we're
where
doing.
the 726 is,
And the 50.
Not the,
No, add a
Oh.
line.
plus the,
Or just put it back.
just add 227,000, that's what, it's around that number, right, that sheet?
226,
5.
5.
Yeah, so let's say put 227, call it. This guy's exact.
Why are we putting that
yeah,
in like-
you know, now you're getting Rob at work, so. Oh,
No.
I forgot the equals, my apologies.
Yeah, but, okay. Victor equals.
And drop that to 400,000,
The
so
726.
726 to 400,000. Just so we can see what
And
it does
that's
for the
the fund-
capital.
To the mill
Yeah,
rate,
so
right,
now
so
we're-
now the capital, you're taking some capital that's already there
Yeah.
out. To
Yeah, let's
balance
just see
out.
what-
the
Let's just see what
wall
we're
with
using
it.
capital for ending fund balance.
Got it.
Now you gotta scroll back all the way over.
Gotta be a quicker way.
Is there,
There is.
keep going,
Keep going.
Yeah,
keep
keep
going.
going. I got it, I
This,
just.
this
you
thing
know,
is not
there's
go
just-
way back,
The wrong one again, you know, there we go.
okay.
So you'd have
So-
148,000, so next year, if we can't fund it as much, we'll still have.
A
you know,
little
say
bit.
If we did 400,000 next year, we'd still.
So,
have
but your
5.5.
proposed fund withdrawals is 616.
Yeah,
Because.
cause you're gonna eat away at some of the, that's what was good about, we started putting stuff in on the
Right,
side.
so I'm saying, can we lower that?
Can we add,
You wanna go lower than 140?
No.
No.
Of this?
Of
Oh,
the-
you can, I mean, that's your,
Right,
I
that's-
don't make those,
so
yeah.
you have to
That's-
add that line in there that says one-time school payment of 226.5, it has to be added on
Yeah, I
that.
can do
Right, but what I'm suggesting is we look at fire
So-
company,
Okay,
Okay.
so when you're talking about that, Rob, go to the 15-year plan real quick. So if we're looking at the CNR 15, right?
Right,
And we were able to shift some of the capital non-recurring projects to the right a year.
yeah.
We, with absolute input from you
Well,
guys, because,
What I would suggest is, if you wanna lower it by 100,000, 500,000, whatever, just bring it to the committee.
Yeah.
See what they can do
Yeah.
and bring it back to you.
yeah,
Right.
because we don't know what has grants attached. We don't know as contracts for the fire trucks or what, gotta get them. in a
so
certain
how
time.
long would it take to do that?
Not very, but where are you at in the mill rate?
No, where are we at with mill rate? Go to mill rate calc, which is come
Oh,
back this
yeah.
Yeah, we
way,
do it
one click,
What?
one click.
How you liking the
There you
job
go,
now,
mill
Rob?
rate, click, there you go, mill rate, 204, still slow.
No, it's 1962.
19, where are you? at?
That's what.
Oh, 204, okay, 1962.
Yeah, I think it was 2 point.
Oh, but the difference is 2 point.
Oh,
That's all right.
I thought you
Yeah, I thought you meant it was
No,
20.
the increase is
Oh,
two
yeah, no,
point
it's not.
oh four, which still,
I mean, you could do it,
Suck.
you can go to 550 on, out of fund balance.
we could.
Transfer from match last year. I mean, it's no fun, but what are you gonna do? If you're
Yeah, I don't
trying to get
wanna,
through this
I
year.
wanna go back to our original,
Original what?
the postcard we sent out.
Well, we can't.
Don't
It's
have it
now
now.
null and void.
Well,
That
not
ship
if we
sailed.
cut
What do you wanna cut?
capital projects.
Cut
Yeah, but the
capital?
capital projects were only funded for 600,000 for this fiscal year. And
You get-
John White Road's locked in. There's
Take
a,
that's what I'm saying.
200,000 out of
so
capital.
there might be a
projects.
couple 100,000 we could possibly, they could suggest that they could
Right.
do for us.
Alright, or take it out of fund.
And that
where-
would,
where fund
that would
balance, let's go to-
probably bring you down below your 2%.
Before we mess with
Where we
capital.
were at what, 1 point?
Oh, no, I mean,
Seven, eight.
Also kicking the can.
We were
So-
kicking the can,
Yeah,
but
Right.
the thing is, for the past,
Anticipating
Five
a
fifty.
$338,000
But
increase.
for the past 5 years,
So-
we've been
fund
very good with
So
capital.
go to
475
five,
is-
And we
Yeah.
made a lot of progress.
Negative
over,
475.
up,
D,
I mean, we
over,
funded everything
over,
we wanted to.
over,
Under
over,
D.
Oh,
over.
okay, well, left or right,
There you
go.
column D is very
Over.
helpful.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if it makes a difference.
Alright, put 550 in.
Yeah, we shouldn't put
Five
the,
fifty-eight?
No, 550.
550.
it's kind of hard
Well,
to
minus
put the
550.
town
Minus
need
550,
behind the
let's try that.
school needs.
Okay, where we at?
Oh,
15?
One more zero.
I was
Yep,
gonna
right.
say, how did you get that much? 10.63?
Putting the needs of the town behind the needs of the
So-
school.
So go
stuff.
to, now
So
go
we
to
take
mill
capital
rate calc.
projects and push them down.
I understand.
Down, no, yep.
Alright,
Okay,
That we're in.
alright, I can, oh, I got this.
same basket at the end of the day.
I can kind of almost. There you go, guys,
1946.
for 10,
Well, that's 10%, we're below our,
that's a
No, we're at 10%.
suggestion.
Wait, what is it?
It's 10.
But I thought it was-
It's 10 to
You're supposed to be-
14.
no, You're supposed to be between 10 and 14.
10 and 14.
Did we not say 12 and 14?
Yeah, I
No, we
thought it
never
was
said 12 and 14.
No, you're
Go to
It's
the-
10 and 14,
And that'll change at the end of this.
What are you looking at?
right,
We're gonna need an extra.
you wanna go to the mill rate, alright, go back one.
I swear it's 12 and 14.
yeah,
We
there's
have that
memory
memory,
and,
It's also just a guideline.
No, but you,
It's
there's
not a-
rules. Fund balance policy, it's, I
Fund balance
think it's
policy.
three tabs over.
Those rules.
No, I know, no, I'm just saying, it's just suggestion.
Did you 10 and 14?
It's a
Yeah.
guideline, really, suggestion
Hey.
only.
I was wrong.
Okay, you were there when we made this thing.
You're a big man.
So was he.
Yeah, but Hunter, you were here when we made that.
I know, but we've always kept it between 12 and
Because
14.
we're little.
With a goal of
fiscally-
12, it says here.
With
a
So
goal.
You're not, you're
It's
not
also
far
a
off.
You
suggestion.
don't have to always tell them they're right when they're wrong.
No, right,
Alright,
really.
so,
Okay, so
He's married.
go back to the mill rate calc and
Mill
say,
rate.
can everybody live with this before we mess with capital?
Yeah,
Your mill rate's gonna go from up 1.88 mils,
Which is damn near what we
Increase.
told them is gonna happen.
and then we get rid of the debt over the 3 years. The school, did you change the school to the new school thing?
oh, yes, it's on there. Well,
So we're at a
what's it?
flat 10% of that fund
917?
balance?
No, it's a 17, not
10%.
20 anymore.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
what it's there for.
so,
First.
The audit.
First one.
When the auditor comes in, they've always said we're at a nice level, if not a
Yeah.
little high.
well, Warren's
we're a
got
little
like,
fiscally, well, Warren's
Next one.
ridiculous.
what's their fund balance?
Don't even ask, you don't wanna
Yeah,
know,
that
but we
would be
got in
like
trouble
five-
for that,
5
we
million,
got
7,
in
right?
a lot of trouble for that.
It's like an endowment. Yeah.
It's, I know, but we got in trouble for doing that, so we can't do that anymore.
How much of the 16% increase to the school budget, or what we're responsible for the school budget, is due to the tuition, or not the tuition, the enrollment shift?
100,000, it's 100,000, that's what I saw.
You're looking at
So-
next year's enrollment?
It would have been 700,000
If without it,
if
but,
everyone stayed flat.
so that's, I mean, there's nothing we can do about
You
that.
can't do that,
So,
right, yeah.
No, we're stuck with that one, so anyways, here we are. This doesn't mess with capital, it doesn't screw up our capital plans. We don't have to
Yeah,
go
we're not
back.
kicking the can.
We're not kicking cans, we're taking this head on.
If it's in line with what we already proposed, I'm more comfortable with it.
What are we looking for?
19 point,
So, and we put the 117,
13,
did
and
we
now
put the
we're at,
117, or I'm sorry,
we did,
111,
it's already in there.
111?
Did you put
Yeah,
the 111?
111's in
Yeah,
there.
it's in there.
And you're still running at a 99% tax collection rate?
Where did we put them?
It's right there on, it's L something.
right here,
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna have
Oh,
to
yeah.
create lines for it, but.
Yeah, oh, you have to make a line for
Or
it.
should I
Put it up.
throw that, oh, no, we need that one, right? That's gonna be a 3-year.
It's gonna be a 3-year one, so
Right.
we need that for 3 years, and then 3 years everybody can go. If we get the other towns to agree with this, so Hunter, we can still do, if you want to meet with the other boards of finances.
Is there, so my question is, how do we
I'm fine with that.
reconcile this being real numbers?
You don't worry about it right now. You
Well,
just go with it.
No, for our town
No,
budget
that's correct.
purposes, it's,
It's as
that's,
good as we're gonna
hopefully
get.
this is worst case scenario.
It's not gonna get worse.
The 2.3 is a big question, cause we were told it was 1.9. They added 400,000 to cover the invoices, and they said if they got paid back by the, for the invoices,
Right.
they'd reduce what they're putting, they put that money into the loan.
Right.
Right.
Well, if we're agreeing to pay the invoices.
It
that
should
they
be
paid,
1.9, not two
It
point
should be
three,
1.9.
which would reduce this 335.
So that's quite a question for the CFO and the superintendent, say,
Right.
hey, if we're paying this, why are you gonna charge us twice, really?
That's a big deal.
Yeah, well,
So that would be.
Well, that was my
that would
question
be-
to them at your last Board of Finance
Right.
meeting. I said, you send me an invoice for 69,000. So if
Right.
we pay it, why are we taking a loan for 2.3
Right.
plus the, capital?
So that would reduce the
the
3-year,
worst case scenario. Worst case
$400,000.
It would reduce to 111 is what you're saying?
Yeah.
It would
Yeah.
reduce 111.
Right.
By, divide by 3 of
Over 3 years.
$69,000, so it's kind of,
it would be under.
Splitting
$100,000.
Kinda need to have, like you said,
But
some
I-
true numbers.
I
to
think
go
we
by.
can't, but I don't think that's gonna happen if we decide.
Well, it's a simple question.
It's
of
not,
math.
it's not though, it's really not, like you
Well, they
think it
can't-
I
is.
don't know
but
how you make
it's-
it more confusing or any. how
I
can
can
you-
tell you why, I can tell you how, if
Oh.
you wanna know.
What?
Because right now they're in triage mode, they have a cash flow issue, they're 1 easily 1.9 plus.
Well, it's
So
either an
now it's
error
when
and
you pay-
it's an intentional error or it's an error.
Right.
That's true,
That's all we need to know.
okay, I got that, I'm just saying, you're not gonna get that answer today.
Doesn't matter, cause we already mentally have a mill rate that we're kinda close to.
That we could live with.
Whether
Right.
that-
Worst
whether
case
it goes-
But
scenario.
I
go down
agree
a
with
little bit.
Tom, I'm
Right.
not writing checks
No.
until we have a very clear picture of the 1.9, the 2.3, what we owe, what's been paid, what the overages are, I totally agree. I just think it's gonna take it's gonna be after the year closes before they can really dig in and Julia can give that answer.
Yeah, if it's 1.9, you bring that 111 down to $91,706,
Right, so that would be,
91 what?
706
right,
or 7. So that's a good savings, which
it
would
is.
be nice. It's a simple answer. If we pay it, if we agree to pay it,
Mhm.
then it shouldn't be 2.3, it should be 1.9.
It should be
Right.
Either way, we win.
And yeah, but I think if we put it in the budget for 111,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're safe.
Yeah.
It's better to,
Yeah.
but I totally agree with what you're saying. The question, like, I'm not willing to pay anything until we have a real comfortable, clear
And I
idea of what it is.
I think you're right. We gotta get the towns to all agree that this is, we agree on the pension and
Mhm,
we agree on all the other numbers too.
Right.
right,
Cause you can't do one
Well-
town or two towns
Right.
out of 4.
So if we're in alignment on that, do we need legal opinion on whether this is like,
Yeah, I don't know if it'd go into an interlocal agreement or something simpler than that,
mhm.
do we ask?
Or
our
can we do it as a
attorney?
gentleman agreement, I don't know.
Is
Yeah.
that something you can do?
Oh, yeah.
Only because these are past due, like, only because this was from a prior year, a carryover, it's a little funny situation.
So can the 4 towns not have an agreement with Region 20 to make those payments individually, like
Uh-uh.
each one of them? Region 20 would have
Well, like-
4 separate
No.
line items that would be funded by the towns individually? Can you
Yeah, why
not do
can't
that?
Warren say, well, we're gonna do it all in 1 year instead of 3?
How do you
over
pay
3
bills?
They had I think
One
they-
at region, one of the
Come on,
money goes to
guys.
region
How do you
20
get
and then
the-
region 20 pay those.
Yeah, let
bills?
Region
Right,
20 dole it
But
out.
if,
Yeah, we're
but-
not, we're writing the check to region 20, not to the
but
individual vendors.
we're still on the hook though, like, then it goes back to legality. Region 6, the towns of Region 6, if this is the way it is, you're still on the hook for these bills.
Yeah,
So now, if Region 20 is writing the checks and only Morris and Warren are giving them money, they're gonna pay bills. You think the people that aren't gonna get paid aren't gonna go back to Region 6 and say you owe me
I think
money?
the question is,
When that's
do
their
you, do you
accounts.
do you amortize it over 3 years? What
Pay it
we're
up.
sort of saying.
Well, I don't know. That's not what I thought the question was.
No, so if Warren wants to amortize it over 1 year,
They can
Fine.
do that with
I,
Region 20.
how?
If we wanted to
what?
do it,
How do you do
They
it?
can do it. They can do it on their own budget, just store
Yeah.
it somewhere else. They just
Right.
don't pay
They
Region
can't,
20.
right, they can't pay
They could charge their taxpayers for it.
Right, they can
But
put
they just
like,
can't give the money to Region 20.
That's
They have
why I
to
put it
like,
capital.
why would they do it?
but why can't
because you can't,
No,
how do
they
you pay
can't.
your
They can
quarter
do
of your
that
bills?
themselves.
You and I own a car
you guys are
together.
both saying that.
I'm
That's our
only gonna
last
pay
thing.
half of the car
You and
payment. Does
Tracy.
that make you not
We're saying the same
liable?
thing.
No,
No, we're not.
No,
But what I'm saying is,
Kip, you and I
We're-
own a car
yeah.
together. I make half the payment.
Right, Tracy's worried about us being the co-signer on bills that
So
aren't.
We
paid.
are the
Yeah.
co-signer by
Right.
default. I don't wanna pay it
Right.
3 times
so
because
they're gonna get. an
Goshen
invoice.
Litchfield doesn't wanna pay.
Right, but if,
Goshen, we could do the same thing, which.
what we're saying is just keep it in a different pocket.
We could ask for the whole, we could do, yeah, we could ask for the whole convey in
335.
one shot.
Right.
And then just leave it in capital to earn interest over the next 2 years as we're paying it off to Region. They're
Right.
only gonna send, Region 20 is only gonna send one bill.
Right,
Warren can do that for $25,000,
right.
pay off the whole thing. But they're not gonna be able to pay the whole bill off for 3 years.
right, they
'Cause
can't
legally,
send
it's
that.
just like if you buy a car with your kid. Your name's always gonna be, you say, you and him are
Yeah,
going
right.
fitty-fitty.
Right,
Well,
you're gonna be on the hook
but you're on
if
the
the
hook
kid
till
don't do the
it's all
fitting.
does Region 20 get audited like we do?
Yeah,
Okay, so they've got the same rules to follow as we do.
Yeah.
no,
Oh,
no,
No.
no.
Well, they
They
obviously
have
not,
different
'cause
rules
they
because
didn't
it's
follow them.
region. I know, but they can always
Well,
run
they have
their
to
budget
use
without,
general, they have to
they have
use
to use
general
general
accounting
accounting, yes.
principles, I hope.
that's my concern.
that's.
Well, I think they have, at least they have a.
I'm like, as soon as you say cosign, the back of my hair stood up on my back of my neck.
That they created this year.
I mean, it's, like, if we paid off our portion of it, there's,
I
So
mean.
really, the budget should have been 43.
we could do that, but it'd be
Yeah.
a gentleman's
Now you
handshake.
say, how do you
And we really
want it?
don't have to.
What was the
It's
last-
not costing us any interest.
No, it's not.
Get the
Right.
details on it.
What I'm saying.
It's not like we were talking about, when we were talking about taking out the loan.
Exactly, that's what I
Are
think the
we,
mindset.
are we in general agreement with the numbers that we put in, whether they're true or not? I mean, I think it's worth.
If we're gonna try to get this done by our timeframe, I think,
To present a budget, yes,
yeah.
I say yes.
Okay,
Do you guys
so then do we
wanna-
want to do a hearing? While we get, set a hearing date, while we get a, confirmation on some of these things?
Well, you're not gonna get, like, you're not gonna get confirmation, so just go forward.
Well, we can set a hearing date, and then if we can always change the numbers from the time
Right,
we do
right,
this
right.
until we meet. So we have what, 3 weeks, Tom?
I don't think you can.
Yeah, what is our deadline?
Well, you'd probably wanna be done, well, what's Region 20? Is it the third is the district meeting and the fourth is the referendum?
The second, I thought.
Okay,
Second is the.
Well, here I have
the
it.
you
third
cannot
referendum.
change the numbers if you vote on it tonight to take it to public hearing. You can change them after public hearing, but you cannot change these numbers between now and public hearing.
If we agree as a board on this number that we're gonna present to the
If we
selectmen,
agree to take this, no, we do public hearing,
we're gonna present it.
we can't change the numbers because we have to legally notice it and then we put it out there. Tom usually put it on the website or whatever, but we can't change the numbers from legal notice. We can change the numbers after public hearing
Right,
and then go and then decide if we've changed them a lot.
Okay,
do you
so
want to do
when
another
we,
Public hearing, or you send it to referendum,
So
or
when-
send it to vote, or send it to select.
when we have the hearing, we can explain to folks that we are able to do certain things if that comes up.
Right, even
Changes.
at the hearing, if you
You-
get
right.
anything changed, you can say, we're going to make a change, this is actually gonna drop down, but what
Perfect.
you can't do is
That's fine.
change the numbers that we vote on
Yep.
tonight.
Right.
Yep.
Now.
And this is our worst case scenario, right? as
This
far
is-
as-
So we
Like,
think-
we're not expecting the numbers to get any higher,
So we think.
We think,
so.
We're open,
Should we put them all, should we put all that money in capital?
put it all in capital fund.
Just for the sake of, why create a line item that we don't know if we're gonna pay $111,000?
You can throw it on,
I'm
I
better
mean.
off
Yeah.
capital
can-
line items,
you
Cause
cause then you
can
can
capital.
always vote it back into unassigned.
Yeah, if it
Right.
drops down to 91,
Yeah.
right.
Sure can go
Right,
back to
so it's a little
capital
more
fund.
fluid.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, and then it can just help us down,
You do-
refund the
you-
capital stuff.
Do all that and.
No, I got all the numbers here, I could do it.
Alright.
You're voting on.
It's not
the
gonna
final
change
number's
the
not gonna
final
change.
number. Yeah, we could do that,
Well,
because
that
then it
kinda
helps our
makes it-
capital balance if it doesn't,
Yeah,
if we're gonna
that
take
makes
that
sense.
down,
Yeah.
it helps us to go back up with it, plus it locks it down.
So we're doing,
So
so
if they
the,
decide,
We don't have to vote on
right,
that.
so the pension's already in there, it's its own line item.
yes,
And then we're gonna put a line item of 111.
No, I'm gonna
He's
move
gonna
that
move it
all
to
into
capital.
capital. One lump sum of 338,000 is gonna be.
but we're gonna fund
Okay.
111,000
In capital, have its own line item.
this year.
So when you see the capital line item, I'll have all three broken out.
Right,
Okay.
so
so
this
that people
year,
will see.
next
Yeah, yeah,
year, and the
yeah, yeah.
year after,
That's my
equal the
point.
total,
Yeah, I just wanna make sure, yeah.
That's good.
right? Yeah. Right, yeah. 1, 2,
So what do you
3,
do for, time wise?
Okay,
Did anyone find the date for the referendum?
I thought it was,
the date for which referendum, the one
School.
in school, somebody said June 3rd.
You said second?
Second, third, I don't know, we haven't put
Well,
a
the
date on.
district meeting might be the second, then the next day would be the referendum.
Yeah, I don't, we haven't voted on
Sure.
that, that's Thursday night,
it was in
it's
the
supposed to be the
paper.
public hearing. It's not cast in stone, but I think that's what they're looking at.
Cause you could have a town hearing next week. And then a budget vote 2 weeks after that and set your mill rate. Whether or not the school budget passes.
Right, I think that's what Goshen did.
Right.
I think it's June 3rd, sticks to my mind.
Yeah, somehow.
It seems to be sticking in my
Cause
mind.
they still have to have a district meeting, then they adjourn to referendum for the following.
Following day, but the public hearing is Thursday.
Yeah.
So it's 2 weeks after that.
That's where it doesn't make sense, cause that would be
What?
June 5th.
I don't know, maybe it's June 5th, I don't know. I mean, they haven't voted on it yet, but
Well, if they don't vote for referendum, it's gonna go to referendum.
it's gonna go to, I'm gonna push them to vote for referendum because I think it's going there anyways, no matter what.
May 6th
I
referendum.
think they will, May 6th.
June 6th.
June
already.
6th. Wait,
says,
no.
Making budget outcomes of May 6th, never mind.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's where it went down, so, Thursday's public hearing, the proposed president list. Deficit,
No dates.
Well, you can still set yours.
yeah, it doesn't really matter whether it's the 3rd or the 5th, it's not gonna change
Well,
anything.
say you do the 28th for a hearing, it's a Wednesday. You could do the 11th for your vote.
And Wednesday kind of sucks.
You could do Tuesday, the 27th, just gotta get it out fairly soon.
We gonna wait 2 weeks?
No, Tuesday, the 27th is next
Not
week.
less than 5 days to post it. So you can do that, you could do next Tuesday.
The next Tuesday,
For the hearing, the town
for the
hearing?
public hearing. You just gotta get it in the paper tomorrow.
Then you could do the
and
10th
Send it to,
to vote. And by that time, you'd have the school number, if you have a school budget,
right,
you'd have that number. If not, you don't.
If not, do we revert to last year's number?
well,
Cool, right?
well, would, yeah.
So what was that, what was your,
But then
what's the
I
date?
can do,
Sorry, what was the dates again?
I think the 27th for the hearing,
well, they're heading for disaster, there doesn't seem to be an appetite for this.
And then 2 weeks after that?
that would be June 10th.
There you go. I mean.
Town meeting,
I don't know
budget
what you
vote.
do.
We'll probably throw a few
I have
things
to
onto
go
that.
out.
What? You put- yeah,
on the agenda.
That's not happening.
and the 10th would be
So
the,
we could put this, budget up on the town's website as proposed.
Yeah, but
As soon
he's
as
got a
Rick
couple,
updates it.
I'll update it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll give it to Laurel,
yeah.
and you guys, I'll send it to you guys first.
You wanna
Alright,
tell
so we
them
have to
the,
do
changes, town clerk?
Yeah, the
Sounds
town
good.
clerk has a new,
Printer.
correct, new printers is, it was obsolete, they had to get rid of it, and then we went to,
You wanna look at that?
yeah, well, that's only like, or you. I think it only went up like $600.
Where are we going?
town clerk,
Town clerk,
I mean, okay, fine.
again, just for transparency, you can't see it anyway, but it's up there, it's under expense. I think it's up $640.
Yeah,
Fences.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, she's getting,
640.
yeah, and then if you can go to,
Oh, you already put it in there.
yeah, and if you can go into, transfer station. He's doing, the guy's doing a really good job down there, as far as saving us a lot of money.
Keep going.
Yeah, he's almost
Keep
like one of the
going,
last
and-
ones.
Making money from me.
Okay, transfer
Yeah,
station.
I know, yeah, I'm
You
not,
don't
not,
sound like
it's always hard
that.
to say, it's hard to say that, cause he's whacking people left and right, but he's, couple of things. I had to increase his, expenses. I went up to $6,000. He's changing a lot of stuff down there, a lot of signs, a lot of different things, and,
Mm.
so that's where he's trending, and,
What's
you
the
know,
$10,000 maintenance?
$10,000 maintenance, all his equipment's getting older, and he's constantly coming in saying we need to, you know, zap this, zap that, and he thinks we can use it out of the recycling account, but that's not really how
Wow.
it should be in the right account, and it is in the right account. So you'll see those go over, but I dropped recycling down by $20,000.
Oh, that's good. So kind of,
12, yeah, no, he's $12,000 better just with the moves we made, so it's bringing him in to talk to him. You know, he was trending in that zone,
Okay.
and he
How-
keeps adding new stuff.
So, but the total budget is 4% less.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
no,
Cause
it's
he
good.
dropped,
Right, right.
I should tell you,
so,
I just wanna see where we massage the lines to
Yeah.
make people in the right.
Just gotta make sure all the expenses are coming out of the right line item
Right.
moving
Right.
forward, cause you know, he's gonna go over on those two, might as well make them true. And then also with the changes made with the town ordinance, the recycling, the tonnage has dropped quite a bit, that the town's paying for.
Right,
So that's a good
Mm.
because
decrease.
the people are paying, the individuals are paying for. or
Well,
the
the-
businesses.
no,
Businesses,
businesses,
commercial, yeah.
and then Board of Finance, we should have a line.
Yeah, could you go
What's
to
the
that?
flyer, $1,000, close to $1,000 at the end of the
That's
Yeah,
day?
you guys
Here.
have nothing in your budget. you
I
know.
know,
I know.
yeah.
so we should
But what?
add a
I
grand
think we
for
had
flyers.
$2,000
What,
in
for
there.
Board of Finance?
We used to
We
have,
did a math.
For the audit, what else do you need?
That's what
We had $2,000 for,
we used to have,
No,
we used to
well,
have
we
clerk.
never got a clerk, so.
I know, so we,
No, you never had the clerk in there.
We never,
I know.
oh,
well, if we send out a mailer or anything like that, like what was that
why,
cost?
why are we
Eight to-
adding to this?
800 to
Why is the
1,000.
Board of Finance messing with us?
I mean, you could just, I mean, again, if you
What
guys,
about Finance? We can always give ourselves $100 if you do
Yeah.
a flyer,
I
guys.
mean, I'll have to tell on you that you're going over in your department, but
Every month.
you're good.
We're
I mean,
still
again,
the
it's up to
Board
you
of
guys.
Finance. We
If
still
you
get
want-
that money out of.
Yeah, the only question really for Board of Finance, and that's why I think that's a different color, is I don't know if Capoletti's going up on his audit costs.
Right.
Neither do we, so, do we wanna, I mean, I don't wanna mess with this, like,
Change
I
Board of
don't
Finance
want to
supplies,
change this
supplies.
now.
If we change supplies and we put $1,000 in there.
You have
No.
contingency if you, something
Alright.
happens.
Yes, just take it out, don't mess, like,
Yeah,
we're at 1.88.
We'll take it out of
Yeah,
contingency.
Sucks, I don't even wanna go to 1.90,
we're
because
talking
we are,
hundreds of dollars, right?
because we might,
Yeah.
may
$5,000.
take $20
Listen, I
out
spent the
of
money, I wanna make
contingency.
sure it's accounted for.
That's last year, we already, Rick's gonna give us a memo that says you guys went over, make a line item transfer, you boneheads,
By
right?
the way, Lakeside has its own post office code, which I did not know, which cost us an
Only for the
extra.
last.
$200.
I don't know,
Yeah.
years.
I heard,
They have their own post office.
They have 92 shipping addresses.
that many?
I lost my little
Oh, yeah.
letter.
Is that true?
Okay.
And I'm house number 1 and he's house number 2 from center of town, so.
I
Alright,
printed them up
alright,
and then
alright.
Tom's like, where's Lakeside? I'm like,
all right, so are we making a motion on this?
We have to go to the final.
yeah, let's go to the final budget
go to the
number.
Final, no, wait, budget number thingy,
All the way to.
all the way to. Yep, whoa. I got that. Okay.
All right, so here are we, right here. This is what we're talking about tonight.
Total town budget
The total proposed budget,
of
10
10
million, 300.
So Hunter White would like to do a motion.
Hold up,
Thank you.
it's 2 million. It's 10,217,000.
Yeah, why is it two different numbers?
Do you have a 111 in there throwing us off?
No,
No.
What did he
Exactly.
do?
what did you do?
Something.
Go to, I said, go to totals, it's only a couple more over.
Just go 2 over. Thank you.
What's that bottom number?
217, 10,217,414.
Yeah, that's the number you guys are. going
Okay,
at.
10
So I'll
to-
find out what's going on
All
with
right,
the other one.
10,217,414.
Motion to approve $10,217,000 or $217,414 for town budget.
Mill rate of. It
No.
doesn't matter.
You don't-
No,
we
we
can't
don't.
say
No,
that.
we don't.
Oh,
do mill
wait,
rate,
for
no.
public hearing.
For public hearing.
Something.
May 27th.
I've got the date.
It's one fat finger somewhere,
27th.
and there are thousands.
Can you get it in the paper?
I don't have to do the mill rate. I just do do I wanna do the mill rate as well?
127.
No,
We can't do
You don't
that.
set the mill
I've
rate
been
yet.
there when they found it.
So Hunter Wake, motion to approve the amount for public hearing on the 27th.
Second that?
What time?
At 7.
Seven,
Coming off of-
Morris Community Hall.
Morris Community Hall.
Actually, I can shoot it in tomorrow.
Do you need a second?
I got it.
Did we vote?
No, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
All right, so everybody
Do we
enjoy
need to
Memorial Day
make a motion
weekend.
to,
Don't come in
town vote?
hungover
or not?
and we're all
Not
gonna
yet.
die.
Yeah, we don't need a motion to do the town budget date and the,
What you may wanna do is meeting, same night as the hearing.
To start
After.
at start at
You can put it at the same
They
time,
come
just
in
start
hot.
late.
so we did last year.
Do you already have a meeting
Yeah.
scheduled? Yeah, it's like,
They never, no, they come in hot.
Every Tuesday. Okay,
Yeah, it's,
so it takes us through
I think
finalized
that's
budget, review. Oh, anybody have any questions on the monthly reports that Rick sent?
No, how are we doing, Rick, on the year end? Are we looking good? We coming
Department-
in?
Honestly, the departments look good. There's the three that I gave you, or the two I gave you, that
Right.
obviously we have to have the Board of Finance. I don't really see any issues. You know, I do see line items,
But no
switching,
departments.
but no departments.
No departments over, except for the Board of Finance?
No, it's again, the the building inspector is doing really well. He's gonna
Yeah.
go over, and then planning and zoning, I told you guys earlier.
Yes,
You know, unemployment, we did lose a highway guy. He hasn't gone for unemployment yet, but if he does, that might pop there, but I'll keep you abreast. I mean, we're not gonna touch hardly any of the $60,000 in contingency,
good.
you know, minor, so. All in all, I think we're in great shape. All the other ones are either well below or, you know, right where they're supposed to be,
Okay.
so.
That's good, that helps.
Okay.
Cause our
That
electric
come
rate
down
just
to
went
what?
insane. Did you
This
look at
was
that?
the
What's that?
meeting minutes
No, the electrical
last.
kilowatt hour has jumped up.
Yeah.
Actually, it hasn't, but it's the cost.
At my household, it's gone insane.
Yeah, the cost has gone crazy, but I track kilowatt usage.
That was such
There
a
was only
good
one
time.
area, senior center, who went really wacky.
No, but I'm saying
Yeah.
payment per kilowatt hour, or dollar per kilowatt hour.
Oh, no, he locked us in.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
10.7.
Oh.
10.7, or is that- or was it 13?
I'm paying like
Higher
23.
than 10.
Oh, you were shopping around.
Dude, I'm a.
It's like
I'll make a
13
motion to
something.
$700.
Approve the minutes.
as
That
written
is insane.
for April 29th.
You wanna second that?
April 29th. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. No other new business, I assume? Public comment?
Hi, guys, it's Lori. Yes, of course, I have a question, maybe two. So you gotta remember, I'm a nurse, right? And if I took care of my patients the way these people have taken care of our budgets, they'd all be dead. I can assure you, I haven't lost anybody. I have no hidden agenda here. I simply want to know, why would we pay anyone for anything we don't know they owe? Help me to understand why we would plan to pay $300 in a pension, or we would pay whatever invoices that we really don't know we owe. That's what I have a hard time wrapping my brain around that.
I don't think we are, Lori. I think what we're saying is, this is what we're handed right now. It's going to take a while before we know the exact numbers. I mean, this is what we're given. I think we all know that the selectmen are not feeling comfortable, the Board of Finances are not feeling comfortable with this being the final numbers. But we have a fiscal year end coming up. And we're trying to do the best we can to address that. To move forward, and then, hopefully these numbers come in less. And we're in better shape. I think, unfortunately, we're also kind of out of time, because the fiscal year end. And the year end for the school is gonna be a big factor. Does that help to understand why we?
Well, it does to a certain extent, and I understand, you have statutes and things you have to follow. But at the end of the day, we don't owe anybody anything until we know we owe them. Why do we feel obligated to spend our money on something we don't know we owe? It's an honest question.
Well, money was spent, so somebody owes it. And it's a matter of who is ultimately responsible for that.
Mhm.
And that takes time to go through. We've had numerous meetings on it. We will continue to have numerous meetings on it.
Yeah. I know you're all working hard. I get it. Like, this is like the biggest muck you've ever had to stand in. I totally, I commend you all for like putting this. I'm just trying to understand the process.
And
Just
I
because,
also-
yeah,
I also don't think, Lori, that we're willing to just
Roll
write
over.
checks.
Right.
So
okay.
I think what we're
Good.
trying to do is strike a balance of like, how do we keep the school going? How do we keep the town going? How do
Okay.
we move forward? But I don't think anybody is just saying, hey, we're ready to write the checks. And I think there's gonna be many more meetings with the
Okay.
selectmen, the boards of finances, with the school, with Julie at the school. And I just, because I also know that Julie is still fairly new, and, Dr. Villar is new, so there's gonna be some in-depth spreadsheets to get a handle on. We know there was overages, we know we overspent, but there's still a lot of unanswered questions. You're absolutely not wrong. It's just sort of like, hold your nose and try to do the best we can at the end of the day. But nobody's just writing checks on face value.
Right.
Does that help?
Yeah, it does.
Hey,
Yep.
Lori, how do you spell your last name so I can get it right?
LINDENMUTH.
That's why I asked. All right, cool. Thank you.
And please, I hope you hear me. I do appreciate all your time and efforts and all of this. It's not an easy task, and I am grateful.
Yeah, many
And,
meetings.
Thanks for
I think
attending
they're
a
bad
meeting.
questions. I mean, everybody has to understand that it is it's a predicament, and I don't have any
So we're
real straight
basically
answers.
going on the numbers that we were given, whether they're
Right,
Morris or Litchfield or Region 20, we're hopefully gonna get to the bottom of that. But we do have a stack of invoices, so things were purchased,
right.
bus companies, fuel, all that stuff was bought.
Yeah, as a community nurse, I worry about the people who don't have much more to give. It's hard times. So, I'm going to be okay. My family's going to be okay, but
Well,
there's a
that's
lot
why-
of families that won't be.
I know.
Well, right, so that's why, I don't know if you were following us all along, but that's why we're trying to adjust certain line items to keep the mill rate.
I do. I have been. Yeah. So I thank you.
I mean, it's not
I mean, I'd like
great,
to not have it increase at all, but,
right.
all right,
Thank you, guys. Stay safe.
Yeah,
Thanks, Lori.
Thank you.
Joel?
Yeah, obviously, this is the same line that Lori has. At some point, the Board of Education wasn't paying attention.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of heads that should roll, except Region 6 is gone.
Right.
So this is one of those lessons for the board, it doesn't matter which one, they
Mhm.
gotta pay attention.
Yep.
Yeah.
They should have
100%.
asked the superintendent, said, how much money you got? Well, 3 months into the year, you know how much you spent, I spent 4 months worth. You gonna catch up on that, or is that okay? Cause sometimes you spend the money
Yeah,
in.
well, they knew they were in a deficit at the beginning of the
And
school
they
year.
kept spending money. The Board of Education didn't say, oh, you gotta figure out some stoppages. So the board obviously has a problem. So, I'm happy to come and vent, thanks.
I think,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
great.
add, just because I'm on both the Board of Finance and the Board of Ed, that I've talked to Dr. Villar. I have hope. I've asked him, like, are you gonna be transparent? Are you gonna bring, if something's over, are you gonna do what we do here? you know, is this gonna, are you gonna work with your Board of Ed on a fiscal level? And he has assured that he is. I mean, I've had conversations with him, I'm feeling hopeful that these issues don't come back around.
Yeah, if they come back around again next year.
They come back around,
But the
you know, I
problem
don't
with
know.
boards of ed, and it's true everywhere,
Yeah.
they have to play, keep up with the Joneses. This discussion came up 30 years ago when we
Mhm.
were hiring a new superintendent, and they had to pay him $120,000 to keep up with the other town. And I said to the Board of Education chairman, she wasn't happy, I said, why don't you start him off at 90? Cause he's gonna stay 2 years and leave anyways.
Yeah.
And she didn't appreciate that, we have to keep up with that. Have you tried it?
Yeah.
And she didn't have a positive answer. So, it's okay to not hire these guys at this level. They're gonna leave because they're gonna leave anyways.
Hmm.
And of course, we invent all we want here because we can't touch the Board of Education, so.
Well, I also think too, like in this situation, they went with somebody with experience in this problem, which probably costs more, but maybe we can get out of it and get this thing going in the right direction again. I don't.
With all
I'm
these
hopeful.
superintendents, they leap from town to town because we're gonna lose our guy to the next town. Start off with the newest guy who's got the base requirements, because you're gonna train him, he's gonna leave anyways. And you save $20,000.
Yeah,
And if you.
hopefully
if
they
he's
don't
good,
leave.
Well, that's just, but if you pay them top dollar and they leave, then you gotta, oh, we gotta bring them up to this. We're gonna break that cycle. And no Board of Education is gonna do that anyway, so.
Well, you gotta get, you know, the Board of Education is elected position, just like every other position, so. People
I
gotta
think
pay
everybody that
attention.
was on the original Board of Education for Morris is no longer on the Board of Education.
I think
Right.
you're
And they
correct.
don't come to these meetings.
So
I have discussed that.
I have public comment.
I've mentioned it. Okay,
Is that it, Joel?
I'm
Is
done.
that
Thank
Thank you.
Thanks, Woody.
All right.
So
thank you. for
I know we
support.
can't divorce ourselves from what happened in the past, but I would like to entertain the forensic audit to answer those questions that people had about the past. It doesn't affect what we're doing now, doesn't affect the budgets it's gonna pass.
Mhm.
But I think a lot of people want to know where the money went, if it was impropriety, if it was incompetence. And I don't know if it's worth the bang for the buck, but if I hear $80,000 to $100,000,
Well, Litchfield was 150.
Well, start as a range, 85 to like 160.
Right.
Okay.
so so I would like to entertain. I don't know if it's us, I don't know how it happens.
No, you're talking to Region 6 forensic or Region 20?
Region
Uh,
6, probably we get Warren and Goshen on board. Region 20, Litchfield may not be on board.
Yeah, we talked about the selectmen's meeting today about Region 6 and getting a lot of people really want it, and with all these
I hear
costs
it a
that keep
lot.
on showing up and more, and why weren't these caught in the previous audit too? And these
Right.
outstanding liabilities are showing up on our door 8 months after the fact. I mean, there's something wrong there. So we kind of agreed, we didn't vote on it, but we kind of agreed that perhaps the people should decide, you know, if we put out an RFP or we'd go out, base it off of what the Litchfield school audit would be, similar size school system as Region 6. You figure 85 to 120,000. But then again, you gotta get all 3 towns to agree to that.
And all 3 towns would have to get a yes vote.
What is the,
But we can ask the people if they
We
want.
can, absolutely, then
We can bring
put
that
it
up
to-
in the hearing?
we could put it to bed and they have
No.
the option of knowing or not
We
knowing.
could,
we don't have a line item on it.
we could talk, we could put it on the call of a town meeting.
Yes, we could, we can
Yeah,
put it on the
And-
call.
And word it in such a way, it's based on, you know,
Yeah.
agreement with all 3 towns or something, however you wanna work it, cause do you want 2 towns to pay, you know, one doesn't pay? 2
Right,
towns
and
pay
then-
What's
for
the
it?
appetite with the other towns? I mean, Litchfield talked about it, but were they talking about Litchfield or Region 20? I almost,
Litchfield was for Litchfield.
Litchfield wants to look at Litchfield.
Right, cause they got, yeah.
I
they
get
had some big
that,
problems.
but what is Warren and Goshen feeling about it? Do they have an
Uh,
appetite for it?
I gotta put it out to them again and see where they're at, cause they have to talk with their boards and.
'Cause I mean, Region 6 is one thing, Region 20 is another, and there's an argument for both.
Yeah.
But hopefully,
But Region 20 would be in the fall,
and the
probably.
4 times,
Right.
yeah, Region 20 wouldn't be this,
This doesn't have to
This
be
way.
done at the budget season either, but yeah, I think we should.
well, we'd have to
As a
go, we'd
town-
have to have a town meeting for.
I don't know if
put
it's a
out fund
Board of
balance.
Finance purview, but personally,
Yeah, it is.
I don't know how we'd go about it, or if it's a selectman that would put it out, but
Oh, you gotta fund it.
I think
Yeah,
we have
that's what
to
I'm
fund
saying.
it, and I think you'd have to do fund balance at town meeting with the agreement of the other two towns.
Right.
And then the
Region six.
percentage,
And
So
if
we
you
get into
guys,
that interlocal thing again.
if we bring it up and we vote
We
on it
gotta
as a board of
talk-
finance, whether or not we wanna entertain it or not in the future, that's cool. But I think it just in the back of our mind, I've heard enough questions where I think you're like, all right, this isn't the typical person that comes up and gives me an ear. It's people that I don't normally talk to about it, that
yeah,
have said, hey,
Yeah.
we
What
want,
happened?
yeah, some want blood,
I-
some want retribution, some just want straight up answers.
I
Were
just
we
don't know
lied
if your
to, or-
problem is more in Region 20 than Region 6.
Well, and it's a public
I'm gonna be
comment,
honest.
same line as Hunter's. If you have fraud going on for years, you will never know until you check those books. So
That's what
I'm
people wanna know.
I'm really rough
Where,
behind that.
where did it go?
All right,
Is
I
it 6 or
digress. That's-
20? I don't know.
okay, thank you.
Just one last comment, you guys, I'm sorry, but I don't know how we can ever be out of this. It's not a forgive and forget situation. We're not talking
No.
about $200,000 here, right? I don't
Yeah.
even know why it's that question whether we do the forensic audit or not. I don't even know how that's an option. Like, because what's gonna happen is we're gonna pass this budget at some point, and then the forensic audit's gonna go away, and we're never gonna know.
Well, Lori, it has to be funded and it has to be approved because it's over a
Okay.
certain dollar amount, so. We have to, we could present it to the town, but we actually have to have them vote on the funds it would, or how much it would
Right.
cost.
All right,
Then,
we prove
then
the
I
journey.
vote, then I would ask for us to bring it to the town, let the people vote.
Okay.
Okay, just
Cool.
to clarify something, I just got this in because I know we have terrible cell service here. It's from the chairman of the board who's watching our or the Board of Ed that's watching our meeting. And she said that they have a legal opinion that said each town can pay their portion of the deficit.
Any manner they want. Like timeline, I guess.
Towns decide to pay their portion of the deficit. And then also paid Region 6 invoices are included in the deficit, the unpaid ones are not, which I thought we
So
knew.
we would have to reduce the 2.3 by, if we pay the deficit of the invoices.
Mhm.
So that's something they need to do. If we all
Right, so
agree
we
to
need to
pay.
get,
Yeah.
right,
If we agree to pay the invoices that have been paid on Region 6's behalf, they have to reduce that 2.3.
To 1.9 or whatever it is.
Or we just reduce what we give them by that amount.
I know, it's still, it's,
Which is,
I don't
which is
know,
a
I'd have to see
plus.
the legal opinion.
Yeah.
It
How to
doesn't
do
make
that.
sense,
Otherwise,
'cause I
that's
don't
good
see-
news.
Okay.
So
I would
it
like-
seems
any other-
doable.
There's one other person online, Jeremy, I don't know. Okay, if
Okay.
hearing no other public comment at 8:32. I call the meeting adjourned,
I second that.
okay,
Okay.
all those in favor?
I.